It worked. Jerry's a chicken.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Andrew House.
Hello and welcome to the PlayStation 5 official news play for the date of the 21st of February 2020. In today's episode, we'll be looking at the latest and greatest updates from Sony on their new and upcoming game console, the PlayStation 5, starting with the news release details about the PlayStation 4. Famously, both Jim Ryan and PlayStation Sony have stated that the PlayStation 5's schedule of release will mirror, if not be exactly the same, as the PlayStation 4. So let's take a look at that release. PlayStation 4 development began back as early as 2008, as confirmed by Mark Cerny, who was the lead architect on that console. The PlayStation 4 was released on November the 15th, 2013 in North America, and 29th of November in the European regions, and in 2014, February the 22nd in Japan. So, if the PlayStation 5 is to mirror that time schedule, we are going to get a confirmed release in November of the PlayStation 5. Now, moving on to the game's release. If you look back to the PlayStation 3, Grand Theft Auto had released at the towards the end of that life cycle, just prior to the PlayStation 4 actually coming out, and then launched on PlayStation 4 and felt more like a PlayStation 4 title. So if we look at the games that are now releasing in the last 6 months, these are the games that are most likely been developed specifically for the PlayStation 5, but are also getting a debut on the PlayStation 4 first, and then coming out later on the PlayStation 5. Games like Ghost of Tsushima, The Last of Us Part 2, and the latest Gran Turismo will most likely be a PlayStation 5 original, but also get debuted on the PlayStation 4 console first. So think of it like every game that's come out in the last 6 months is most likely intended for the PlayStation 5, and this is a good idea of the type of games typical that will be coming out on the PlayStation 5. Now, of course, they're not native to PlayStation 5 if they're on the PlayStation 4, but Sony and Jim Ryan have both stated that PlayStation 5 is backwards compatible with the PlayStation 4. You can pop a disc in from a PlayStation 4 game into your console of the PlayStation 5 and play it from that. Currently, with PlayStation 3 games in your PlayStation 4 console, you are unable to do this. Okay, so the PlayStation 5 is coming. It's going to be revealed very soon. And if you look back at the PlayStation 4 timeline of its release, by April and March, we had our first tease of trailer for the PlayStation 4. So by the next episode of the NewsPlay, in March, you will get an actual look at the PlayStation 5, and we can talk about that in next month's episode. But talking about what we do know about the PlayStation 5, we do know that Sony is struggling to actually lock down a pricing for the PlayStation 5. Right now, the bill of materials is said to be around $450, which when you compare it to the PS4, that only costs $381 to build, and they sold that for $399, making a profit. Of course, famously, the PS3 was sold at a loss. I believe that they lost around $100 per unit that they sold, and PlayStation and Sony vowed never to do that again, which is why they made the PS4 in a profitable way. So, if the bill of materials is to be believed, which is at around $450 right now, we can expect a $499 price tag. But of course, the PS4 was only priced at $399, and that sold to date over 108 million consoles. So PlayStation, Sony have always stated from the very beginning for the PlayStation 5, they want the transition to go to the PlayStation 5 from the PlayStation 4 to be as easy as possible for the users. Now, moving back over to Mark Cerny, the lead architect on the PlayStation 5, earlier this year he was giving the demonstration using Marvel's Spider-Man as a loading time example for how fast or how quicker the PlayStation 5 is. On the PlayStation 4, the loading time was 15 seconds, while on the PS5 dev kit, this was shaved down to 0.8 seconds, which is 18 times faster than the PlayStation 4. And this is mainly down to the SSD. Now, SSD stands for solid state drive, and Samsung have come forward to say that they are the official developers or builders of the Sony's SSD drives for their PlayStation 5. In fact, the SSD drive in the PlayStation 5 is one of the most expensive components to be put in, and that's because SSD drives not only are expensive and extremely fast, but they will truly be a game changer for Sony and the PlayStation. They will shave down loading times and intro screens down to nothing, really. Users will have a fluid experience on the home screen and within games themselves. Of course, Mark Cerny reportedly reported back in 2019 that the development for the PlayStation 5 began literally after the launch of the PlayStation 4 console. And Sony are reporting that they are looking to sell at least 6 million units by March the 31st, 2021 of the new console. So very quickly, just to recap, PlayStation 5 will be launching in November 2020, and if there is anything you feel I overlooked in today's episode, or if there is a topic you would like for us to discuss, then please leave your comments below for me to consider for next month's show, where we will look and talk about the new reveal for the PlayStation 5. Thank you for watching.